Welcome to This Day in Real Estate. The topic for today is the chapter Authorized Relationships, Duties, and Disclosures. And it begins with a general explanation of the law of agency and then details the various types of brokerage relationships practiced in the state of Florida. The unit or chapter also explains the licensee's duties and obligations to principals and customers. And so, in the first area we will go to is an agency relationship in general business dealings. A person who delegates authority to another is called the principal. A person who accepts that authority and responsibility, duties, and obligations associated with that authority is called the agent. An agent is the person entrusted with another's business. An agent is authorized to represent and act for the principal. And as we go on down, we come to a fiduciary relationship, and that is the agency relationship creates a fiduciary relationship with the principal. A fiduciary acts in a position of trust and confidence for another. The fiduciary owes complete allegiance to the principal. A fiduciary relationship contrasts with the common public relationship that exists in normal trading transactions where people with adverse interests deal at arm's length with one another. People dealing at arm's length conduct negotiations on their own behalf without trusting the other's fairness or integrity and without being subject to the other's control or influence. In such cases, the legal doctrine of cave emptor is a Latin term meaning let the buyer beware, and that applies. And an agency relationship exists in many business transactions, such as between an attorney or an agent and a client and a principal. And so the first question for today is the person who delegates authority to another is called the principal. And then an agent is the person entrusted with another person's business. A fiduciary is a person in a position of trust and confidence with respect to another person. And a fiduciary relationship is an alliance of trust and confidence that creates a moral and legal obligation when extended by one person and accepted by another. And then the next section we go to is way on down in the chapter. And it's a transaction broker. And transaction broker relationship, recall that in a no brokerage relationship, a broker and a broker sales associate simply facilitated the transaction process without representing or negotiating on behalf of the parties. In a single agent relationship, the broker is the agent of the principal and the broker's associate and subagents of the principal. The broker and the broker's associate are bound to a fiduciary relationship with the principal. A single agent broker and sub-agent associate represents only one party in a transaction because to represent both the buyer and the seller as fiduciary in a transaction would be a conflict of interest and create dual agency, which is prohibited under chapters 475. So, the relationship brokerage company has entered into a single agent buyer broker relationship with the buyer. In order to show this property that is listed with the same brokerage company for which it is a single agent, in what brokerage capacity may the company work with this buyer and seller? That means together. And both It is D, both the seller and the buyer must transition to a transaction broker relationship before the buyer can be shown the seller's property. So going back, an agent is a representative one who authorizes to act who is authorized to act on behalf of another. And a single agent is, per the section 475.01 of the Florida statute, a broker who represents as a fiduciary either the buyer or the seller, but not both in the same transaction. And a broker is an individual or business entity licensed by the DBPR to perform services of relationship for others for compensation in real estate. And then a transaction broker is a broker who provides limited representation to a buyer, a seller, or both in a real estate transaction, but does not represent either in a fiduciary capacity as a single agent. And the last one is a principal, and a principal is the party employing the services of the real estate broker, and it could be amount of money in a mortgage loan excluding interest and other charges. It is my hope that this will help you in your real estate career, passing your pre-license or your state licensing tests. And if you're not looking to get into real estate, this short videos may help with buying and selling your home. For most, this is the largest investment in their lifetime.